promising friends, making tracks to great destinations.
Everyone on the island was sort of tired. They loved working hard because the fat controller would give them a first prize. Everyone except James, he was the more excited in getting the first prizes. So he had the most first prizes, but he worked really, really hard. But one day he had to do a really hard job. He had to go to the fat controller. He said that you have to pick up the coach. So James went to pick up the coach while the engines were sleeping. Everyone liked sleeping except James. Well, he did not like resting much. Resting is sleeping. That's why he didn't. Everyone moved when James wanted to go, especially Thomas. That's why he learned. He had the second badges. That's why he was a really useful engine. James loved being really useful, but he did not like seeing much. If he couldn't see, he just closed his eyes. But this time, he didn't know that he was going to go out of the track. Wow! He went out of the track. Luckily, the caboose wasn't down. James was the only person who was down. Thomas went to rescue James. He went with Cranky. He pulled on Cranky, but he was too hard. So he had help from lots of engines and help from Toby. Except Toby. He pulled Cranky, and everyone saw what had happened to James. They pulled the caboose out first. Then James's tender. Then James. The fat controller had another job for James. He said, "You also have to pick up the jet engine, but be careful." So, "Yes, sir," said James. So he set off. But he did not listen what the fat controller had said. While the other engines were sleeping, James put on the jet engine. But then there was trouble. He was close to another dead end. He raced across and then jumped out of the track with all the other engines. The jet engine was also flat, like a bottle. But James was not happy. He had closed his eyes because he had an accident. Then no one knew, so he had to wait for another night. The next day, everyone got up and headed Henry saw what happened first. Then Thomas. Then Gordon. First Percy, then Gordon. What? Said Thomas and Henry. We'll call the other quarry engines, so we'll have help for us. Then Oliver came. Mavis came. Stephanie came. And Toby came. They had a job for them. Everyone went out for those engines to get in. So they could get in. So they tried to get James out. But he was too heavy that the engines couldn't put it. The last engine was Oliver. When Oliver tried, with all his puff and buff, he pulled James's tender out. Then pulled the jet engine. Oliver was a really strong engine. So he pulled another thing. Then he pulled James out. James was cross because he couldn't sleep this night. The quarry engines went back to their own railway. And they had fun playing with each other. While James was at Tilbert Sheds, he was cross. For the Fat Controller said, "You cannot sleep this night. You have to do it. You have to do your job tonight." So James was cross. Everyone fell asleep and James did the job. He pulled some passengers on board and then he got them on the stage. Passengers ran out wherever they wanted. Some went to the beach, some went to different places. Then when his passenger job was done, he put the passenger seat somewhere so it doesn't get lost. Put it in the right place so it doesn't get lost. Then he had to do practice run. But it was too late. James had gone too slow. His tender had been left behind. He got another. Yes, said James. He did it.